Okay. Apologies for that. The room is now clear. Did we manage to get Councillor Jenkins back online? No? Okay. There is no forward work plan item this evening. You must have seen that on the agenda, everybody. So we go straight into item 5, conclusions and recommendations. Lucy's going to, or Rachel, I don't know who's going to do it. Rachel is going to give us a summary, then we're going to get some recommendations together.
Thank you, Chair.
Sure.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I will go through what I picked up from the detailed conversations this evening. But please, again, as I always say, interrupt me and go through the chair if you want to interrupt or add any comments or add anything at the end. So in relation to funding implications, I've got possibly about new legislation. Now, I know there's a possibility of something coming from COSC on this, because this was a discussion about the impact of other services such as free school meals, where there isn't funding going to full funding going towards it, having an impact on the local authority, which then can inadvertently have an impact on other services. So just to note there that there is potentially something going from COSC at its final meeting in relation to this to Welsh Government. There's also, if I might add to that, SOC 1 already made a recommendation on that in December 2023 to ask Welsh Government to fully fund universal primary free school meals because of the impact on the local authority that it's having. So that was one I just wanted to highlight to members. In relation to the query from Councillor Amanda Williams, in relation to the street works, I know this was discussed partially and there was some comments provided from the officers and cabinet members. However, I did wonder whether members wish to make a recommendation that this be explored, because there is some question over what Carmarthen is doing. Some members have raised that, so I just wonder whether members wish to make a recommendation to explore maybe whether there is some kind of best practice that they are undertaking, and maybe that the local authority could consider that. Would members wish to take that forward?
Yes, so I have no objections. Yeah. If there's
if we can do it better, why not?
Why not? Yeah.
I think, Chair, it was a very good recommendation from outside the committee and in the true spirit of the overall process. I think if Councillor Amanda Williams has found that, we should be recommending that we do it, most definitely.
Thank you. Further then, in relation to COM6, bear with me if I just get my sheet up, I can explain what that one is. COM6 is relation to bereavement services. There was a suggestion possibly related to this, that there's a possibility of the local authority looking to explore further support from town and community councils towards cemeteries. So it's not directly linked to this cut necessarily, but I think it's something that you might want to consider as part of ongoing work to make a potential saving in the future for the local authority. Members happy with?
Can I just come in on that?
Yes,
is that okay?
Yeah, come on.
I noticed, that obviously they're looking to make savings in the bereavement services, but I know for a fact that if you've got relatives in the crem, done the crematorium, and you have a rose, say put in the bed, a rose to go to. If that rose dies, it's replaced free of charge. Now, I've always thought that was quite strange, because it's happened to me twice, and I'd be quite happy to pay for a replacement rose, but they say, no, it's free. So why do they do that? Why are they giving it free? Sure. I don't know.
I come in on that.
Councillor Bledsoe to come in.
Hi, Councillor Clark. I've had a number of conversations with the guys at the CREM. The CREM is self-funding. It doesn't fall into the council at all. So anything that they do doesn't have any kind of bearing on us as an authority. Because that was my original question, but I lowered my hand when Zach started giving his explanation. So I don't believe, Councillor Clark, that's any kind of thing on us. I think that's handled separately by the joint arrangement between the three authorities that manage the CREM.
That's right.
All right. Okay. Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Okay. We've got Councillor. We've got people who want to come in now. Rachel, have to hold fire a minute. Sorry. Councillor Melanie Evans, please, first.
Yeah, thank you. With regards to COM6 and the burials, it was asked about the comparison. It said that we were mid-table. I would be interested to see who are above us on that table and where we are, to see that table. Also on COMS 3 or 4 with regards to fly tipping, I was interested in understanding you know, how much it had increased. We were told it was a very small increase. However, that's not measurable. So I need to understand how small it was. And they did say they would actually send those reports through as well.
Yeah.
So I would, you know, I would appreciate that going on to the agenda as well there. Thank you.
That's been minuted, and that they will be asked for that information in due course, Mel. All right.
I've got that noted, Councillor. I've got linked to COM3 and COM4 evidence on how much flight tipping over the last few years. So I'll request that information.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, okay, right. Carry on. Hang on, we've got Councillor Councillor Jenkins next, sorry. You're back in the meeting, Councillor Jenkins, you?
Yes. I saw you getting up there and I got ahead of myself. I apologise, Chair.
Oh, it's
but
okay.
I'm back here. With regards to that, you probably will understand as well, but I would like to recommend that where town and community councils make observations or make requests to Bridgend County Borough Council to give them an indication of the running cost of any particular cemetery that they have within their area. As we failed to get this from Bridgend County, given the same old answer, it goes into one big pot and we don't know. Now, I know it would mean probably a bit of work from those to realise, how many actual burials are taking place and how much maintenance, but it should be costed. Each individual cemetery should have a cost code against it. There's profit and its loss. Or you offset what the money it takes in and what it costs to run, so that we can have some idea of where we go. Now, I appreciate Gilvach have taken their overs many years ago, and they have 3 permanent staff on it, and that does take quite a bit of their precept. But the maximum last time I inquired there was for somebody who lived in the area and decided to come back home to be buried. The maximum at that time, about 3 years ago, was £650, compared to what could be thousands in my stake cemetery. It didn't make sense. But that's what my recommendation is. Could we get answers so that we could make qualified decisions should the council proceed with the help of Bridgend County Borough Council to take over its own cemetery?
Thank you, Phil. Rachel, is that something you can knock into a recommendation?
That links in with what I had as the draft recommendation, Chair, so that's really, really good.
Oh, excellent. Okay, Councillor Pratt has got here's you, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's still an awkward one in my mind, but if the local authority are looking at town and community councils for assistance on the grounds that all of us by now, if not most of us, should have submitted our precepts, and this cut is going to be done in this financial year, it might have been useful for the local authority to have told town and community councils that they had this in mind before we set our precepts, because this is something that winds me up left, right, and centre. This authority talks about being one council, one community, and someone somewhere has decided that town and community councils can assist with this without actually informing the town and community councils. Thank you, Chair.
This budget, timings things and ongoing, sort of headache. Rachel, Nora, you're next, but I'm going to bring Rachel in first. I think she's going to answer with what Jonathan said, so give us a second.
I've got another problem. I can't put my hand down. Sorry, Chair.
Right.
No problem, I'll do that for you, Councillor Clark.
Thank you.
No, Councillor Pratt, and I think this is something that, Councillor Clark and Councillor Davis will know from years, years gone by. This is something that a lot of members have raised about getting the precept and the ideas early to town and community councils. It's very, very difficult in terms of getting the within year, to them earlier. But I think in terms of opening that door, there is a look from directorates now to look towards town and community councils. And funnily enough, I was having conversations with my colleague Mark Galvin about utilising the forum primarily for those types of things. So where do the service areas want to look to town and community councils? And we can use that forum then to kind of develop those proposals, I think, in future. That's my aim anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councillor Melly Evans, please. I'm skipping you, Phil, because I don't know if that's a legacy, Anne, but you just spoke once.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, sorry, Phil. Do you want to go? Because you were number one up in the...
No. I think Rachel has got it on the ball with her. She understands.
I think yeah, you have, Rachel, in the fact that I think there is something here in the fact that collaboration between town and community councils needs to be more effective and more, efficient, really. So, yeah.
Ironically, Melanie, and on the committee, the PCBC always bang on about this collaborative working with town and community councils. It's a big push they've got, but when you come down to doing it, you get the problems it's highlighted by Phil then, anyway. You know, it is bonkers. But anyway, Rachel, keep going and go on.
Thank you, Chair. I've got COM8 in relation to exploring what Councillor Bledsoe proposed, and they agreed with that one in terms of is there a possibility to look at the bus station, which is proposed for savings for the future, in relation to a money-making asset for generating revenue. So they agreed to that one, to look at that. And I think the Councillor Bledsoe was to replace with commercial income, replace the saving, basically, was the recommendation.
Chair, can I just confirm that the recommendation I'd like to propose is that it's taken off as a budget saving and it's replaced with potential commercial income to protect its future.
Yeah, we make
Thank
the
you.
recommendation.
Okay. And then COM9, again, I've got a possibility or a proposed recommendation to have a conversation with the town council.
Hang on, it's back to number 8. Oh, sorry, Rachel.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I just want to
yeah.
do number 8.
I can follow Ian, right? Ian wants to come back on number 8, so quickly.
Can we also recommend that we explore the possibility of putting some renewable energy source on the bus station, perhaps solar panels or whatever, to try and mitigate any costs for electricity?
Yeah, it's all the above, I suppose. Isn't it? You know, like Stephen described, the inside, you know, and outside. Yeah, generate. Yeah, something to look at. Yeah, you know, including what was been mentioned, basically, Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
No problem. I've noted that.
Yeah.
So yes, COM9, as I said, in relation to let me just get that one. What that was? There was a proposal, possibly that I think by some of the councillors who sit on Bridgend Town Council, that they might want to be approached. This again links in with the links with town and community councils over maintaining that service. So I think that was asked if that could be explored.
What service is that? Sorry,
The shop mobility scheme. Chair.
Shop mobility.
I think some of the Bridgend Town Council members said that they might, they might be open to be approached as a town council.
Just on that, Rachel, I think that was actually mentioned by the cabinet member, not by the town councillors, because we made declarations of interest at the outset because we anticipated that was where the conversation was going to go.
Right.
But as we're twin-hatted, it's not something we could suggest. It was suggested by a cabinet member, and we didn't correct them.
We could put it as a recommendation if it's no harm to have a conversation between the two of us.
But I'm sure you'll understand our delicate standing in that way.
Yeah, no problem. That's fine. If the committee is happy to put it as a recommendation, then it's just again to have that conversation.
Yeah.
COM10, then I've got in terms of could potentially look at increasing more and making more for future years. This was in relation to the Puthcall Marina. I think there was a proposal that maybe the fees could be increased in future more than they are at the moment. So where the members wanted to make a recommendation on that.
Well, what I think what irritated certain members of the committee was the fact that we've been subsidising it for without, and people we would have thought who can afford to be sort of paying a little bit more. I think that's the sort of gist I got of it, but. We can explore it. Can we put it as something to explore? Certainly.
The marina chair has always lost money.
Always lost money.
Yeah, ever since it's been in situ there as the marina, it's lost money.
And that was fine, Nora, whilst we had the money to sort of subsidise it, basically. But things have changed, unfortunately. Nobody wants to do any of these cuts, as has been said numerous times this evening. And this is another one we've got to look at, isn't it?
Exactly.
I've got a further information then, Chair, in relation to COM13, the climate emergency saving, and there was a request for further information on the climate change costs and grants for members to have. Then in relation to COM15, again, that's another one. Apologies, I've crossed that one out. That was the weed spraying, but that was actually, there was a further information on that one to send out the weed spraying schedule, so I'll follow up on that one. COM20 then. Unless there's anything before that, I've got the 125,000, the recommendation I think that was put forward was that if any money is available from Welsh Government, that cut does not go forward on COM20. Does that have the full support of the committee?
Is everyone in agreement with that? Yeah.
Yes.
And there's another option on that one I had, Chair, where there was a suggestion that the committee that the authority consider looking at multi-skilled teams, so not just one area, that they could look at street cleaning, grass cutting, etc. So that could be a possible recommendation for transformational change going forward. Yep.
Zach seemed to suggest it costs more money, but over underneath the top, but there's a lot of guys who can do various things. You know, they jump around all over the place. I'm surprised.
I think we've got to have some sort of cleaning team. You know, you can't keep depleting it because the streets, you know, you walk down them sometimes and they're appalling.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's now,
these,
you know.
These guys can't turn their hands to other things, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, you know, you've got to look at the job description perhaps and change it.
You've got litter pickers in work with me. You're going to gritting lorries in the night. Some of them can drive gritters and stuff. You know, you just jump, they're all over the place working. I don't know what.
Yeah.
Is it possible, Rachel, to put to look at the job description that these people have?
That's what I think you just said that, Ian.
Yeah.
You just said that, yeah. Multi-skilling, yeah.
Again, you know, there may be an option to explore whether other local authorities are doing this and share best practice.
Yeah.
Well, at least at all, but then you got to go with that look across by there.
COM25 then, in relation to the closure proposal for the recycling centres, there was a recommendation that this not be cut, and that there's a whether you agree or not with the suggestion by the cabinet member that the potential is to get some of the funds by pushing forward COM24, and whether you wanted then to look at where else those other savings could be taken from.
What was COM24?
I think I could support the 1 day a week in the week.
In the week, yeah,
but not on the weekend.
Gone through, as Stephen pointed out to me, but it's the weekend when we struggle.
Yeah, and I think there was something said by one of the cabinet members that said that we haven't even seen the outcome of the 1 day a week yet.
Yeah, no.
And we can't be closing it for a second day a week on what is recognised as being a busier one until we find out what the problems are with what they've already approved. So I'm not sure as a committee we came forward with a recommendation on how they could mitigate that. However, it's kind of a case of pushing it back to them and saying, you can't do that because it's not right.
Yeah.
There was the proposal, Councillor Bledsoe, as I said, by the cabinet member and the officers, that they could potentially look at pushing COM24 forward into 24-25 and make partial savings in this year instead, and which could mitigate the COM25 saving.
I agree, Rachel. I haven't had my lunch yet. I'm starting to flag.
Yeah, see, that's what John said. In fairness to him, to bring 24 forward to make some. But Zach did sort of try to knocking the building down or something. He said, didn't he, which could put the markers on it, and use that money then to save the day in the tip. I think. Councillor Pratt.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Yeah, can I obviously? I mean, I agree with everyone about the second day closure, but I mean, if we lose that fight. Can we really insist that if a second day is to go ahead, that it should not be on the weekend? It's, I mean, funny, I had this conversation with Councillor Bledsoe before the meeting. I mean, I work. I don't use the refuse centres very often, but when I do, invariably they will be on the weekends because 9 till 5, Monday to Friday, I'm a busy person, so it is the weekend. I don't have any evidence for it, but I would imagine that most people in my situation, either my age or in full-time employment, the weekends would be the days you use our refuge centres. So if we are to have a second day, it must be in the working week, not on the weekend, if the rest of the committee are happy with that.
Councillor Ian Williams, Johan?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. If they are going to insist on shutting on a weekend because they've said it saves more money,
and it's a problem with disposing of the waste on the weekend, he said as well, didn't he? Which
could they do it on reduced hours then? But have it open for a Sunday morning,
well, he said
or Saturday morning?
Midday on a Sunday, he said, didn't he? If that had to be the case, because, you know, why not have it open for a few hours at least on that day, isn't it? Rather than shut,
close midday or whatever, but look at reduced hours on that 1 day. Or
spread it through the week and reduce the hours through the week a little bit, just to sort of, you know, is open. What time is it? Is it open 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock? I don't know. Could it be 10 o'clock and save 5 hours?
Could they close a bit earlier or open later?
They've reduced a lot of the hours already, haven't they? I think over these tips, haven't they? Over the years, haven't they? They used to be open till 8 o'clock at night once, didn't they? They're not like that now. But I know again we haven't got no detail on it. Have we?
No.
you know.
If I may, Chair, I know
Right,
we
so,
didn't
yeah.
I know we didn't discuss this in the meeting, but time was against us. I think we need to encourage them to be working smarter and cleverer. So something that's always stuck in my mind is we don't operate an appointment service there. People just turn up ad hoc. Now, you wouldn't do that at the doctors, and that's how they manage
They don't do
the
anything
flow.
at all, but either.
But do you know what I mean? It's too easy to say we'll close it on a Saturday or a Sunday.
I mentioned this once in one meeting, and I told them in Nipatoma they brought a appointment service in for COVID, you know, the start of COVID, and they've kept it going, and
Yeah.
they reckon it works, you know. And the people over there, nobody complained about it, you know.
No, and we didn't discuss this in the meeting, but we have to look at ways to keep this open because closing it's too easy the option. I feel that's where they went with the bus station. They didn't look at alternative ways. There must be alternative ways to run this better, and whether that's an appointment service, because if John or I had a lunch break and we could nip there and we could book an appointment in a lunch break and we knew we'd be there for 15 minutes, bang and out,
Yeah.
because we had the appointment, and then we're mitigating the inconvenience and we're working
There's
smarter.
no queues then, is there? Because this queue apparently down in
Exactly.
Is it horrendous down in Bridget? What's the one in
Bryn Menin.
My Stegan's not too bad, you know, but
Yeah.
it still get queues up there, but not like Bryn Menin. It's horrendous.
Yeah, it's all
isn't it?
fly tipped up in Cairo.
Right.
It's dark walking up your house, mind, you know that, don't you? Okay.
Can I just ask though, sorry, can I ask a question?
What's the kind of-
Because the whole purpose that they've said to reduce it by the weekend, another day of the weekend, I don't agree with that because I think you have to implement something and give it time to review it to see whether it's working and then look at further implementation.
Yeah.
However, they said they could bring COM 24 forward. Was that right, Rachel?
Yes, that's
Now
what we just
that
discussed,
though for me as well is to reduce the amount of depot facilities for BCBC operations. Well, what do we require that for in the first place? So what is in that depot? You know, are we aware what's in that depot? And it says here as well, will require capital to ready for letting. Full savings unlikely until 2025-26.
Well, John,
So, you know, we're making decisions here. I think, or not decisions, should I say, but proposals. But yet we got to be sure exactly what that depot and what's in that depot.
Well, John Spanswick brought that up. So
Okay.
he's a cabinet member, so I'm assuming that he's aware of what's in that depot.
All right, okay,
So
that's fine.
it is, you know, and they did mention that some buildings got to be knocked down, so they couldn't. There was an issue with that, but he didn't dismiss it out of hand, mind. He didn't even with that. But John brought it up as
Yeah,
something to do,
okay.
you know, not so that's where it came from. So you know, okay. Rachel, sorry to carry on.
No, I think that's all I've got actually, Chair. That
Okay.
was me coming to my end of the proposals. Were there anything else that I've missed? Did any members want to raise anything else as a recommendation, as a comment?
Anybody got anything?
Did we say anything on COM 27 about the blue bags? Was there anything needs to be said on those?
Anything?
I didn't note anything on that, Chair. It wasn't
Oh,
necessary.
right,
They
okay.
were there
didn't
if any
recommend-
members want to.
We didn't recommend
Yeah.
not doing it, did we? Really? Did we in the meeting? Did we? No.
Well, all I can say is Zach said that the quality of the bags from April will be better, and thank goodness for that, because they're really, really rubbish at the moment. Excuse my
Yeah.
pun.
But he qualified that by saying they may be the last ones you get, didn't he? So
We're double bagging now, aren't you?
yeah.
Like Laura said, you're going to put 2 bags in.
You have, and usually you've got to put it in the black bag.
Councillor Bledsoe, is that your hand legacy or you?
Yeah, just
last word
2
on this?
quick points. Councillor Martin Williams has had to leave the meeting, but he has asked whether we would consider putting the recommendation through on the last point that he made about going through with projects that we've had to overturn, like with the ULEV on the vehicles. He thinks that we need to be always mindful of ongoing situations. And from myself, as a possible recommendation, I would like the committee to consider the observation I made at the very start, which was that whilst we've all done I believe as a committee, a fantastic job this evening working together, I believe that we could still change the way that we put this process together for this to be even more productive. I think I'd like the committee to consider a recommendation that we change the way that we create these budgets.
All right. Generally, you mean?
Generally, I've only been a councillor for 2 years. Both years I've been setting budgets, and the year before I was elected and I watched the meeting, I keep hearing, we understand that what we do isn't the right way, but we will do it better next year. Next year comes and it's never better. And I think if we're genuinely one council and we're all working together, the process that we've taken part in today can be improved on. I think everybody recognises that, but it just needs to be changed.
You're also talking about BREP, you know, aren't you?
I am.
And it wasn't there something said recently about reviewing BREP, Rachel, or something?
Yes,
Special
as I
memories?
said, Chair, I've contacted the WLJ already. Actually, and I'm meeting with them next week to arrange for them to come in and look at scrutiny.
I just
Well,
want that
specifically BREP.
big picture stuff, because we've worked our backsides off today in this meeting, and I think we've been very effective and challenged and been fair. But I think as an overall process, the process of how we as an authority set the budget isn't right. I, as a not in the administration councillor, could work with my colleagues and present a budget 3 days before. That's not right for the committee. We need more budget lines. We need to be able to work better. And I'm sick of hearing we'll do it better next year. We are in next year and it's no better than it was before. That's just my opinion.
Away there, so.
I've got it. No problem. Thank you.
Yep.
Councillor Ian Williams, you got your hand up?
Yeah, just really to substantiate what Steve said, the fact of the matter is we are only looking at reductions which are proposed by Cabinet.
I will say, just to jump in quickly, that is what you get in BREP, mine. It's no different. You're not getting much else.
But that can't be right,
No,
because
well,
there could be budget lines you could say, well, hang on, why are we doing that? We don't want that.
If I can just
Okay.
If I can just say, Chair, that I know there was an offer of finance officers to support individual members if they wanted to query anything. So I think one thing is certainly to kind of get the word out a bit more about that, encourage members to take those offers up in terms of looking at alternative. I can clarify for you, Councillor Williams, and I can find that out. Roughly? It was before Christmas, I believe.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
But I said the big picture, when you go back to how huge this picture is, don't you? I don't know. But you are right. It's all we get is the proposed cuts. And if we don't want that one, we don't want that one. If we don't want this one, you know, it's impossible really to do much with it.
Just to build on a point that's been raised, if I'd been aware last year that we were perhaps subsidising Porthcawl Marina, I may have made that suggestion last year. I'm only aware of it now because it's been proposed to us in this process. We need to have more information in order to help more.
Yeah, okay. So, Rachel, we've got quite a few there to get on with, I think, haven't we?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I've got that noted down, and I can get all those recommendations drafted up. I've got to get them done by tomorrow, because the send up for cost with all the recommendations are going out either late tomorrow or early Wednesday.
When is the next cost meeting out of interest?
It's the 30th.
The 30th. And
yeah, so send out is this
There's no more meetings like this now, looking at the budget to be fed back to cost, because it's the last one now?
It is the last one, and then all of them will be collated together to go to cost, because I said we'll get it all done now by tomorrow, end of day play tomorrow, and then cost then will either strengthen any of the recommendations or add any further comments based on what is put forward to them, and then the report then will be presented to the early February Cabinet for consideration, with responses then to the late February Cabinet, where the budget will be determined.
Okay. Okay, there's no urgent items.
Could I just ask a question for clarity, Chair, with you around earlier?
Yeah, go on, yeah, quick. Basically
to Rachel there. Is there a system for we go 1, 2, 3 like these our scrutiny committees, etc. And they're all meeting at different times, aren't they? Obviously. I think only the latter ones or the latest here now. I think I'm not sure, but is it possible to see their recommendations prior to each and every one's others, so we have a brief idea of what our colleagues are actually coming together with, so that we know the overall scenario? We get all, you know.
We can certainly have a look at that, Councillor, in future. It is very difficult for my team, to be fair. I mean, bearing in mind, I had
I appreciate that, but I need to be clear. It's not good me saying, oh, I'm making this as if then we are 3 different, committees working against our colleagues, where you say, oh, they've got a better idea, so we can rally back or move forward on something. You know what I mean?
That is true, and that
is
the process that COSC actually does have, and that's the way hopefully COSC has that oversight, and then we'll draw things together then in its final meeting next week. So that's where we try and get it. You know, I know with the local authorities, they just have one committee that looks at the whole budget, you know, and they don't separate it out into individual ones, but obviously you don't get every member looking at the budget then in some way, shape or form. So it is, as I said, maybe we'll get some clearer ways or some improvements, as I said, from WLGA on this type of thing as well. Because as I said, they will be looking at, I specifically want them to look at the budget process and to look at other local authorities and see if we can maybe learn some, you know, get best practice from, we're talking about it ourselves from Scrutiny. Let's see if we can do it ourselves and get best practice and share it.
I know I didn't want to be disrespectful to most of the directors and my director, obviously, in communities, but unless it's referring to best practice and say how this council can save money, I mean, I don't want to be told what all other authorities are doing, because we are here to look after our authority and the people I represent. Now, I know you were an officer yourself, so you probably didn't want to hear that, but two wrongs never make a right. Oh, they're the same. We're all in the same boat. I know we're all in the same boat, but I got to try and make this a boat that's going to survive longer than the other boats.
I can make sure, Councillor, that all the recommendations and on all the papers that go to COSC next week, I'll make sure that they're sent out to all Scrutiny members. And if you want, then I can send you the appointment to observe the COSC meeting if you want for next week.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Melanie, you very quickly so we can get this wrapped up.
Yeah. It was only just to share with Philip. You can actually review the scrutiny meetings because they are all recorded. So you can actually see exactly what different scrutinies do discuss. I know they might be long meetings, but obviously they will then you will get to understand what other colleagues have discussed. So I don't know whether you knew that. So I just thought I'd let you know, Philip.
Yes, but you know, there's sometimes that you can sit through so much waffle at the end of the day. I would like to see the consensus of the recommendations that come out of those meetings like ours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that will give me an idea then.
Yeah, it's there for colleagues and public alike as well to view the meetings on the website. Yeah.
Thank you, Melanie. Rachel, are we done?
I think so, Chair. Thank you. I've got everything noted.
There are no urgent items. Aware of any urgent items?
No, Chair.
Okay, the time is 20:09. That's 8 minutes past 9 in Old Money. I now call the meeting to a close. Thank you very much for your attendance, everyone.
Thank you.
Chair.
Thank you, officer. Thank you.